the meeting, so in case some people want to watch it later. So the project has started, the active phase has started this week. So it's been, about 5-6 days since the teams have been formed. We have about 5,000 university students, and in the end, selected about 50 school students, people who are pre-college teens or kids. We also have probably about 10 or so what we call professionals, so older people who would like to participate in the project for personal development, and so they don't happen to be at a university where they can participate. So we call them professionals, and we have a small group of those people as well. Now, in terms of, let me share the screen. In terms of our clients, let me show you so you can. So from this point on, we are moving to the university page for the resources. So you had a separate page where you could see your training materials, but it was only for the academy students, only for the non-university students. The university students received their own training from the professors, and so they didn't have the same training page as you did. But now that you're done with the training page, this is the page where you will find all the resources. You don't really need the materials, you've gone through them in much more detail, but you have the schedule, and so we know when and what happens. Then we have the challenges, and so here we have sort of two groups of participants. The university students, they have a choice of 14 different challenges to work on. So those 5,000 older people, so who are 20-something, 30-something, 40-something. So they have all these clients to choose from. And so most of them are pretty specialized companies. Just let's take a look at, at a few examples. For example, ICCM, it's a consulting company that specializes in cross-cultural consulting. So they're out of Florida. And so they have some questions about how to organize some of their events and expand into new markets. Believe, it's a time-sharing platform. So it's a place where people can donate time and use time of others. So basically almost like a marketplace where instead of money, you use time to buy things. Nashville Area Chamber of Commerce. Oh, I don't even know how to explain that in simple terms. It's an organization in the city of Nashville whose job it is to promote business in the city of Nashville, Tennessee, and so on and so on. So these companies, they're a little specialized, and we felt it would be a little overwhelming and difficult for younger participants to try to solve those challenges. So they're a little complicated and perhaps not even sometimes much fun. There is only one company that is a lot of fun, and that's this one. I really like it. It's a company called Mary's Poop, and it's in Maryland, not too far from here, and they sell, poop. So they sell exotic manures. So that's an interesting one. But again, the business industry, the industry where they operate is peculiar and very, again, specialized. So I'm not sure how much it would work for you, for kids. And now for the kids, we have the Dream School Challenge, and that's the only choice. I decided not to include InnoSpark for those of you who participated last year, mainly because first we have a relatively small group while we're still testing the program. I didn't want to make it too big. And if we had InnoSpark, we may end up again with only one team choosing one of the companies. And second, instead of having multiple companies from different industries, we have now one challenge, but multiple participants. So for the Dream School, we will have several schools that participate, and we will meet with them and learn about their models. And so the Finnish Schools International is one of them. Some of you already know it. Then the Greensboro Experiential School is a different school. So I really like that one. Actually, my daughter goes to that school. They do all the teaching through games and projects. So they don't have desks in the classrooms. They don't have, in fact, the classrooms don't even look like classrooms. It looks like a living room with a sofa and, bean bags and things like that. And so all the teaching they do is always through games and experiential learning. And then we have talked to a few other schools, and probably we'll try to organize a few more meetings with schools that do things differently. It all will be happening probably next week, maybe next 2 weeks. And so in the result, or as a result, you will have met several schools that do things differently. Plus, you will exchange information about your own schools. And then after a few weeks of studying about how different schools can operate, you will then try to develop your own school, dream school ideas. And so these two schools are extremely interested in your input. Both of them are relatively young. Both of them are developing very fast. And so they would like your ideas for how they can make school better. And so the hope is that after comparing your knowledge about your own schools and about the schools that we will need and doing research online, you will be able to come up with some interesting and good ideas that these schools will be able to implement and use in the future. So that's when it comes to the challenge. And in terms of the timing, so we did form teams on Monday, and we still have a couple of very strong kids on the waiting list, but I'm hesitating, and I'm not sure if I want to add any more. So we have a couple of kids from all around the world, not a couple, 4 or 5, that are really interested in participating, and they did pretty well, but their performance results were not quite as high as I was hoping they would be. So they're right on the cutoff, and I'm not sure what to do with them. So there is a slight chance you may have one more team member added to your teams in the next few days. In fact, if we do it, we will do it on Monday. But other than that, I'd like to think that the teams have been now formed. So we also have about 400 MBA students who would like to join, but with them, it's a different story. Their semester starts later. So in different countries, the semester starts at a different time. And so we have about 400 students whose semester hasn't started yet. So those will be added to the university teams, and probably again on Monday or later this week. When it comes to the younger teams, the X-Culture Academy teams, I don't think we will be adding many people, maybe 1 or 2 more. So if so, some of you may see one extra additional team member. One more thing that will happen a little bit differently this semester, we give you a little bit more time to get to know each other this time. So in the past, as you remember, once you selected your client, you basically go ahead and start working on the project right away. This time, we would like to give you a little bit more time to get to know each other. So the deadline that you have to meet tomorrow, all we will ask you is, have you talked to your team members? And then a little quiz asking how well you know each other. And then it will be the same quiz next week. So we will still be trying to give you more time to get to know each other. And only after then you will be selecting your company. In fact, in your case, it's already clear. And then doing the webinars, and then starting to prepare and work on the task itself. The hope here is that by giving you a little bit more time to get to know each other, we will allow you to have a nicer, smoother start. So it will be less stressful, and at the same time it will be more fun to work on the project when you know your people better. So we did a few studies over the past several semesters where teams were asked to start working on the task without any without getting to know each other. Then we would give them 4 days to get to know each other, 1 week to get to know each other, 2 weeks to get to know each other. And each time we give them more time to get acquainted, to get to know each other. The results went up. People were more satisfied, more attached to the team, wrote better reports. So this time we added 1 extra week before we will start asking you to work on the task itself. Plus, it will give us a little bit more time to do the webinars with the clients and to talk a little bit more about your schools. So that's where we stand, and that's all the updates I had for you. Now let's talk about questions. How's life on your end? What questions do you have? Harsh, please go ahead.
I have a teammate in my team from Ukraine. I emailed her or he, I don't know exactly. So he or she replied to my first email, but then disappeared.
Well, it's been only a few days, Harsh, so I wouldn't worry too much. Maybe his family took a trip somewhere. Maybe he got sick. Maybe he was just busy at school. So it is too early to worry about that. So let's see how it goes. If you don't hear from him for the whole week, that's when we will get really worried. And so what we'll do at that stage, maybe we will use one of those people on the waiting list and drop the bad team member and add a new team member to your to your team. But for now, I wouldn't worry too much, especially if he replied at some point and then didn't talk for a few days. Too early to worry. So, things happen. People have their own, things. So it's all, at this time, it's a little worrisome, but not, not to the point that we should do something about it right away. So, and as you remember, Harsh, there will be always people on teams who will not work hard. So some people are more diligent, other people are not. It will happen every single time that you will be working in teams, co-located teams, global virtual teams. People are different, unfortunately. And so it is important that you take the leadership role. If somebody is not working, maybe talk to that person, maybe try to rearrange the workload among the other team members so that you don't rely on the unreliable team member. But unfortunately, it's life. It happens all the time. So this one's not different. Alita, I see you raised your hand. Did you want to ask something?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's Alita's father. Good to see you. Good to or hear you.
Hello.
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
So we have two schools. One of them is International Finnish Schools,
mm-hmm.
and we know everything about it, and mm-hmm. it desires to open new schools around the world. It's a mystery. But about the second school, I read about this, and it appears to be a local charter school which doesn't desire to open worldwide everywhere. So what's the question about this small school?
So, well, they're not really small, but you're right. They are local, so they're not necessarily seeking to expand into new markets, at least not in new countries. But they're very interested in ideas for how to design their school better. So this is the very, very first year they operate. So they literally opened a few months ago. So the school has, they teach at this time grades pre-K to 6. So they have pre-K, K, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 8 grades. And they have 2 groups, I believe, in each grade. So that's about 20 kids or maybe 18 kids in each class. So that's a total of about 500 kids, maybe probably even less than that. And so they're very interested in ideas for how to improve and design their school. So they have a nice new building, and the school was founded by 3 co-founders. We will meet them next week. And so they're still trying to figure out how the program exactly will work. So they hired teachers from all around the country. I don't think they have international, but they literally imported some teachers from different cities, those who specialize in experiential learning. And so they're trying to design basically the program. So they already have a lot of ideas. Obviously, they have a curriculum. They have the building that they already designed and refurbished and furnished and made it look really nice. But they're very much still in development. And so they're very, very interested in the kids' ideas as to how they can make the school better, from the point of, how it should look like, what the classrooms should be, set up like, all the way to how the classes should be taught, what subjects should be taught, what else they should do. So this school is extremely interested in the curriculum design, whereas the Finnish Schools International is interested in both curriculum design as well as marketing plan. Now, when it comes to the Greensboro School, experiential school, the experiential school of Greensboro, they may not be interested in expanding into new markets that much. And by new markets, I mean like new geographies. But they're very interested also in the marketing aspect of their business. So this is the first year. It's a chartered school, so which means that the government pays for the students who go to that school, but the school still has to attract kids. And so they did have some, not really difficulties, but being first year, they still are not operating at the full capacity. So in addition to designing their curriculum, they're equally interested in a marketing strategy for attracting more kids to their school. And so we did take the risk with our daughter and sent her to this school, and so far very happy with it. But basically they have to compete with all the other schools in the city. And so for them, the marketing aspect is also very important. So they will be very curious to see kids' ideas as to how they would market it, how they would convince parents to send their kids to this school. And even though it's contained to a small geography, it's basically one metropolitan area. But at the same time, when it comes to promotion, marketing, presentation, public relations, any interesting ideas, if any come their way, they'll probably use it in the next recruitment cycle, which will start literally in a few months. They will start recruiting for the next fall. So yes, they're not interested in expanding, but they're very much interested in, let's call it, product design as well as promotion.
So the shape of our final report will be different.
No, same thing. So the kids will not be really designing a school of a particular brand. So they will be designing a dream school. So if you had basically blank slates, so if you could start from nothing. So how would you design your school, what it would look like? there would be a question where you would locate it, but in that case, I guess the Experiential School of Greensboro would not be interested in different locations. But again, once the kids choose the location, same thing. So how would you market it? How would you inform the parents about the school? What would you say? What the ad would look like? And again, if they choose, for example, let's say they say that they should open the school in, I don't know, India, maybe some of the ideas related to marketing will not be applicable to the United States. I guess in that case, it will not be very useful to the Experiential School of Greensboro. But I suppose the hope is that most of those ideas will be more or less universal. So if it's a nice, interesting slogan, I suppose it probably would apply everywhere. If it's an interesting idea for how it could be marketed, or public relations stunts and things like that, if the kids come up with any of those, again, the hope is that it would be applicable enough to this geography so that the school can use it. And then for the Finnish Schools International, yes, they would be interested in new locations. So they would be very interested in that aspect. Where do you think a school like this might be in demand? And so to them, the geography will play a little bit bigger role, but overall it will be exactly the same, single proposal. So, and again, as we said, it doesn't have to be specifically marketed as the Greensboro School Experiential School or the Finnish Schools International. It would be basically, the kids have come up with their dream school. I'm not sure if they need to come up with a different name or just call it dream school. And just basically, how would you market that school? So the hope is that whatever the kids come up with will be applicable to the clients, and so we'll see how it goes.
So we still have section 2 market about population, geography, culture, economy, politics, and everything.
Yes, so that will definitely stay, yes. And so here it is true that it may be a little bit less relevant to the Greensboro Experiential School, but at the same time, the hope is, again, that, who knows, maybe something good comes out of that. Maybe the kids will propose the United States as a market, as some of them did last year. In that case, it might be useful. But more importantly, it's also a good exercise for the kids themselves. So the goal there is not so much, I suppose, the information that the kids can tell about any country to the CEOs of those schools. Chances are they will probably know enough already about those countries, and if not, they can do a quick search on their own. But it's a good exercise for the kids. So they learn about a new market, a new country, culture, kind of learn how to make that sort of comparison. So yes, we will definitely have that section still in.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One thing, so following up on your question, so one thing that we would like to do slightly differently this time, we would like to also, in the first section, to ask the kids to do a little bit more research and comparison on their own schools or schools that they go to or the members of the team go to. So the hope here is that they will not only be learning about the schools that are clients or school education systems in general, but they will also tell about their own schools. And so since we have 4 or 5, I think some teams even have 6 people at this time, that's 5, 6, 4 schools right there that they can compare. And so ideally, it may be a good, ideally we would like them to maybe even take some pictures of their own school and show it to the team. Maybe even do a live podcast out of the school if it's allowed. I know some schools may not be allowing this kind of stuff, but if they do, it would be nice. Maybe even interview the teachers, maybe even interview the principal, maybe even talk to some of the kids. And so again, the hope is that by sharing information about the schools they go to, they will be, not only will learn something new about other schools, but also will have this kind of point of comparison. So when you do it as an isolated instance, I guess there is not much comparison going on. But when you compare deliberately several schools, I suppose you then pinpoint some of the points that are different, that are similar, and that hopefully will give them more ideas as to how it could be done better in comparison and in general. Well, Justin Raj, good to see you. I think your video stalled. So how is life for Justin Raj? We cannot hear you for some reason.
Hello?
Yes, how is life?
It's nice.
Good to see you. All right, any more questions?
Yes.
Please.
There is one silly question. If we design a dream school, and we have 2 schools of this kind, do we have to choose? Actually, what's the difference in our work if we choose one school or another, if we just design a dream school? with our prepositions?
Well, again, the plan is that the ideas, the suggestions are not specific to one or the other client. In fact, it may be a good idea. Let's quickly go through the challenge instructions. So we do have 2 clients, and we will have 2 webinars, and then probably more throughout the semester with other interesting schools. But those will be, again, the goal here is that they will talk about their schools not as much as clients, but more as, here is a different system, here is how we do things. Here is why we do it this way, perhaps this is our philosophy, this is our logic. Hopefully, again, they will even show some of the pictures, or maybe even live stream from their classrooms, so that the kids could see what these schools look like. And so we do have some explanation, or some description of these schools in the challenge instructions, as well as we will need the principles of those schools. But again, the goal here is that it will be more they telling about themselves, and not so much we working with them as, how would you improve this particular school? It would be more, okay, let's learn about a different approach to education, because both of these schools are very different from traditional schools. As I said, the Experiential School of Greensboro, they don't have classrooms. You will see it's a very different setup. If you walked in that school, like, you wouldn't even guess that it's a school. You would think that it's maybe some sort of, I don't know, like a big cafe or some sort of summer camp. So, but again, kids may like or may not like what they do and how they do things. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you will see some problems with this approach. Maybe you will borrow some ideas for your dream school, but these are just sort of food for thought. So ideas for development, as opposed to some specific, framework around which you should work. And then when it comes to the challenge, so both of them already have some schools, both of them operate somewhere, but they are interested in design. So basically they're interested in ideas how to improve their own schools. At least one of them is interested in expanding into new markets, and both of them are interested in how would you market the school, because again, both of them are essentially private schools. And so for them, the challenge is, how do you attract potential customers, kids? How do you convince the parents to send kids to their school as opposed to some other school? And so when it comes, so that's their sort of goals. But when it comes to the challenge, so it will be basically neutral. It will not be related to any brand. So the kids will start with preparation. So we will do webinars with the 2 schools, and then probably more. They will also be asked to do some research online on educational systems of different countries. Again, here are a few that I would suggest to take a look at, since they're so different. The American system, the Japanese, Singapore, Poland, Finland, obviously. So they're very, very different, and yet all of these are extremely successful systems. So they do pretty well internationally, at least. And so the kids will be asked to do a little research on trying to find out how schools in different countries perhaps are different in general. And then again, we would like them to maybe spend some time on talking about their own schools. So here is my school. This is how many kids we have in the class. This is how many classes we have per day. This is how many kids we have in the entire school. This is what the classroom looks like. Maybe a few words with my teacher. Maybe a little bit information on what hour we start at, when we go home, how many days a week we have the school, what a typical class goes like, what subjects we have. So things like that. And so again, the hope is that here they will be learning something new, because the schools are different in the countries where kids come from in our project. But also hopefully they will start comparing and like, okay, they start at 7 a.m. We start at 9:30 a.m. Okay, that's interesting. What's the best time? Well, maybe in our dream school, the kids will start, I don't know, at 10 or 9. And so they have, I don't know, school from, let's say, 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. Well, that sounds like too long or maybe too short. So it will give them, hopefully that comparison will give them some sort of dimensions or some sort of aspects of the education design to think about. And so that would be the preparation. And then once they have, for a few weeks, have learned something about existing schools, either that they go to or the schools that are clients or in general education systems, hopefully they will be able to advance to the next level where they will start doing some development. And so start as a team designing their own school. And again, it doesn't have to be branded as the Experiential School of Greensboro or as the Finnish Schools International, but just simply that's our dream school. In fact, I suppose there is no problem if they come up with a different name if they wanted to. And then after they have the school, we kind of move in the business aspect of it. So where would you locate your school? So what country do you think would be the best location, maybe even what city, and why? Again, here, I suppose it may not be so useful to the clients because I suppose there are many, many more factors at play when they will be selecting if and where they would like to expand to. But for the kids, it would be an interesting exercise in, again, trying to think sort of globally and think as managers and, try to understand why a particular location would be better for their school. Is it something about the population? Is it something about the geography? Is it something about the culture that may be more receptive to this sort of school? Maybe the economy, I don't know, maybe it costs a lot and they need to go to a rich country, or maybe it is something that the developing countries would benefit from. And so maybe the school should be open there kind of to save the world as opposed to make money. Politics and all those other things. And then obviously marketing. So again, both schools would be very interested in this. We will ask the kids to do it kind of market specific once they decide where they want to do it. So we would like them to think about it in terms of the, how would you make it appealing to that particular segment of the market or that particular geography. But again, the hope is that many of these ideas will be relatively universal. So how would you promote your school? Would it be through TV, newspapers, flyers, school fairs, things like that? And again, the idea here is to introduce them to some concepts like cost. So obviously TV would be nice, but it's expensive and probably a little too broad. So what would be a better way? And so here they would think about all those channels, and again, hopefully they'll come up with something interesting. Ad design, that's the creative stuff. So here they will try to come up with an idea for either a flyer or Facebook ad or TV ad or any other medium or tool, marketing tool that they can think of. And again, probably whatever they come up with, it will not be directly usable for the clients, just because I guess we can't expect too much from the kids, but who knows? Last time, for example, Aelita's team did a very, very, very good job. And so the fact that it looked like it was made by kids, I guess, made it only more appealing. So maybe they'll come up with something like this this time, in which case it could be potentially used as is. More likely than not, I guess, the final product will need some adjustment before it can be, can go in production. But the goal is, or hope is, that some of those ideas may give the school some ideas as to how they can promote themselves. And that's basically the task. And then, some formatting instructions and schedule. So that stuff stays more or less the same. So, but yes, there will be 3 same sections. Does that make sense? Okay, good. Yes, Justin, go ahead.
Sir, I have a kind of problem, sir. In this year, my mother is saying that you have not sorted the team so good because you've given 4 persons from India in our team.
4 persons from India on your team?
Initially, me, Harsh, Saksham, and Advijan, but now she's in the UK.
Let me take a quick look at Justin Raj. I think we did have some multiple people from the same country on some teams, but it should be at least 3 countries, 3 cultures on each team. So
well, like in my team, there is me from Ukraine and Evgeny from Ukraine.
Right. So sometimes we had to have, because we have limited number of kids within each age group. So sometimes it's possible that we may have 2 people from the same country, but definitely it shouldn't be 4. Justin Raj, what's your team number?
Me, Harsh.
Do you have the team number?
Team 2.
Team 2. Okay, team 2. Let me take a quick look. Yeah, just 1 second.
Saksham Agarwal and Advijan.
So Advay, he's in the UK. He's of Indian descent, right? But he grew up in UK, so we counted him as a British. So I think he was actually born in the UK too. His parents are from India. I know his mother actually. So we met this summer. So let me take a quick look here. But so glad that you told me. Let me take a closer look. It shouldn't be the case that all team members are from the same country. So it definitely should be more mixed. It is possible that there may be 2 people from the same country on a couple of teams. I think we do have on one team we have 2 people from Ukraine, and on one team we should have 2 people from India. But it should.
Yeah, it's our team.
India. Yeah, so you have, on your team, you have India, you have Romania, team 2, right?
And Ukraine. And
you
UK.
have another one from India, you have Ukraine, and you have UK. So you have 6 kids, and you have 4 countries, right? So isn't that the case?
3 from Ukraine.
Yes.
I mean,
No,
3
no,
from
no,
India.
no. You have, well, you
For
have,
India.
yeah, you have 6 people. You have 2 from India in India. You have 1 in the United Kingdom of Indian descent, but the guy basically grew up in the United Kingdom. You have Romania, and yeah, so you have, and Ukraine. So you have Ukraine, India, Romania, and the United Kingdom. So 4 countries, although you're right, Advay has some Indian connection. So not, yeah, you scared me for a while. I thought you had 4 people and all 4 are from the same country. No, so that's I guess the situation. Harsh and Justin, what cities are you in India? Are you in the same city or different cities?
Yeah, same cities.
Oh, you are in the same city. Okay, well, that's something that I prefer, that you were in different locations, but I suppose no harm. So yes, you have at this time people geographically located in 4 different countries, and I'm not sure how you would count Advay as far as, you know, what country he belongs to. But yes, the guy basically grew up in London, so I suppose you can count him as Indian. But at the same time, I don't even think he spent much time in India, period. So I know that he's been pretty much grew up in the United Kingdom, so we count him as British. So in fact, I think he's a British citizen. So yeah, you have 4 countries. And again, I wish it was a little bit more diverse, but at the same time, you know, we had to stick with the same age, and so sometimes it was restrictive as to whom we could select. So after people took the theory test, quite a few didn't pass. So we had, you know, the people that we had. And so with that, unfortunately, or luckily, I guess, we had sometimes to put multiple people from the same country on one team. And so I'm looking at other teams. So team 1, for example, so here we have Ukraine, United States, Pakistan, and another Ukraine, right? So other teams, we have 1 team, Oman, Tunisia, United Kingdom, Vietnam. Yeah, this team is, everybody's from a different team. And then we have another team, we have Singapore, Azerbaijan, Pakistan, Rwanda, and Ecuador. And then we have 1 more from the United States, but for some reason it's marked red. So I need to check with Simona what it means. I'm not sure why it's red. But yes, so it seems like we have 2 teams where we have 2 from India, 1 team where we have 2 from Ukraine. And then it seems like all the other teams, pretty much everybody's from a different country. And so, as I said, we had some restrictions as to how many people from different countries we had represented here. So may have multiple people from here. Is that okay, Justin, Raj? You would prefer to have every single one from a different country?
No, sir. My mother had a problem in it.
Yeah. Well, as I said, let me see whom we have on the waiting list, and let me see how things develop with people participating actively. Harsh said that somebody is not responding. And if that's the case, we may be able to replace, like if that continues and if the person is not responding, so maybe we'll replace that person with someone else from a different country. But again, at this time, let's give it a few more days just to see where we stand. All right?
Okay, I have a few things I wanted to say. So, one is, if there's a team with like many people, or almost all the people from the same country, that will make it easier for them to meet in person and know each other better.
Well, so we have a team where we have 6 people, and of those 3 have an Indian connection, but only 2 are in the same city, right, or Justin? Do you have anyone else in your city on your team, or just you and Harsh?
Me, Harsh, and Saksham.
Saksham is also in your city also?
No, he's not in our city, but our cities are not much far.
So yes, I suppose that might give them some advantage. Have you ever met with Harsh?
Yes, we even had a webinar last year together.
Had you known each other? Had you known each other before the project, or you met through the project?
Yes.
We are school friends.
We had known each other.
Okay, well, I'm very glad that you met. Now, Aelita, you're asking a very good question. So if that team has at least 2 people apparently that can meet face to face, does it give them an advantage?
Yes.
So I don't know, it might.
And also a little bit of a complaint, but
yeah.
Let's Jocelyn, are there any girls on your team?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yes, there's one. Only one.
Yes, and it makes a bit harder for the girl because she's the only one there, and she's like, "Oh my God, everyone's a boy! Help!"
Or maybe she's like, "Oh, everybody's a boy, so I'm in a good company." Can you imagine how much attention she will get and how she will be treated like a queen, like a princess?
I am a queen.
But actually, Aelita, you raise a very, very good question. I didn't even think about that, boys, girls. So when we were forming teams, we had, as I said, unlike the university teams where we don't really care that much about the age, it doesn't really matter if the person is 22 or 30. So I guess at that stage, you can call them all adults. With the kids, we were trying to be as close in terms of the age as possible. So we wanted to have, a team of, people of 11-year-olds, well, maybe plus or minus 1 year, but we wanted to be as close as possible age-wise, because there is a big difference between someone who is 16 versus someone who is, let's say, 12. And so that limited us in terms of how we could compose the teams, in terms of the gender representation, boys, girls, countries. And so in a couple of cases, we did have to put people from the same country on the same team to ensure that we have more, match by the age, as well as at least some cultural diversity. But you raise a very good question. You're right. Let me actually take a quick look here, boys, girls. Let's see what kind of composition we have in other countries. I mean, in other teams.
Last semester, Harsh was the only boy in his team.
Did he like it? Harsh, did you like it being the only boy?
Well, kind of, yeah.
What?
Was it okay? Was it hard for you being the only boy on the team?
No.
No? Okay. Well, but Aelita raises a very good question. So it can potentially be, a little bit more challenging or so, yeah, so it seems like...
Wait, is Sophia participating?
No, Sophia's not participating this year. She has a very intensive gymnastic competition schedule. So she decided not to participate. And on top of that, she managed to get an injury a week ago. So right at the time when I had to make the decision if she's in or out, she managed to badly injure her foot. And so she had to go through some treatment and stuff like that. So it seems like she's a little too busy for this year.
She can't be free, at all.
She actually, she's, if you want to talk to her, you mean? Yes.
Yeah, because I've been trying to contact her on Skype. Even when she's online, she still just doesn't answer.
Skype, do you have, what do you call it, Apple FaceTime or whatever they're called?
No.
Yeah, so here in the United States, Skype is not very popular, at least not among kids. And I'm not even sure if she has Skype anymore on her phone. So what's possible is that when you're calling her, she's definitely doesn't have it on her phone, and it may be somewhere on her computer. So I suppose if the computer is open somewhere on the desk, it may show up as online, but I don't think she's using Skype much. So it seems like FaceTime is the way to go. Let me tell her that you called, and so maybe she'll call you back, so that way you can definitely talk. In fact,
where is she right now?
She's sleeping, I guess. Sophia? No, I think she's still sleeping. So I know Maxim was sleeping when I started the event.
Well, you could try and call her after the webinar, maybe.
But yeah, so yeah. So as far as contacting her, she would be very happy.
So, oh my gosh, what other communication things she can use?
Well, here it seems like FaceTime is the main, at least in her age group. So Skype, I suppose, if needed, obviously, that's a very convenient way to talk as well.
Does she have Messenger or Facebook or something, or Viber?
For some reason, it seems like they don't use Viber. That's Ukrainian thing. So
maybe Slack.
Slack? No.
I got a Slack.
Yes. Well, Slack. That's more business.
We made a X-Culture. I made the X-Culture Slack group and added all of my teammates.
Right.
And I really like Slack because it's absolutely identical to another app that I use.
Yeah. Well, Slack, it's more of a business application, so I don't think people use Slack. But to my knowledge, actually, let's do a very quick poll since we are all here now. So what do you use in your countries? So those of you who use WhatsApp as your main communication tool, raise your hand. WhatsApp, anyone? It seems like WhatsApp is extremely popular. Oh, you use WhatsApp? Yeah, so yeah, WhatsApp.
Maybe we should raise our hands in the chat thing.
Well,
yeah, we can.
Let's go through the main communication tools. So WhatsApp, to my knowledge, is very popular in Asia and Western Europe. So that's the main tool they use. How about Viber? Do you use Viber? Yeah, I know that Viber.
I have.
You have, yeah. So I know Viber is very popular in Eastern Europe. So I'm not sure why.
I had to have an account because most of my team members were in Ukraine.
Yeah, yeah. How many of you use Facebook? How many of you have Facebook accounts?
Me.
Oh, you have, okay. Facebook, okay, well, maybe, yes. So I know here kids now think that Facebook is for old people, and so they use Snapchat or whatever else. I don't even know what they use now. I remember Snapchat was here from time to time. Bakhtash, good to see you. So then what are the other, Skype. How many of you use Skype on a regular basis? Alita, oh.
Everybody.
Oh, everybody.
Everybody.
Good, yeah, I use Skype all the time too. What else do we have? Slack? Anyone uses Slack? Oh, Alita and Evgeny, good, nice.
Well, we have just a Slack.
Oh, you just, yeah. What other platforms do we have? Alita, did you say there was something else, right?
Wait, let me.
Yeah, it seems like those were the main ones. Snapchat, anyone uses Snapchat? Snapchat is more, a little bit more for fun, right?
No.
Yeah.
I don't use Snapchat.
Yeah. What else? Well, FaceTime, I guess, right? People use FaceTime on
Discord.
Facebook. And then you have, what do you call that thing on Apple? Is it Apple Messenger, or what do they use?
Hi, can you give your...
Yeah.
What?
Anyway, so, but yes, as a team, you would have to decide which one you use. I personally like Skype, and I'm not a big fan of WhatsApp or Viber, even though they're, nice and old, but somehow, I don't know, I have both of them on my phone just because I have to communicate with people from different countries. And it seems like in some countries, those are very popular. But my personal choice is Skype. So I like Skype. It allows you to share things and, to do things and share screens. But again, I suppose ultimately they're more or less the same. All right, so any other questions? I also wanted to do a quick round of introductions since we have some people you haven't met before. And so Bakhtash just joined us. So any more questions at this time? All right, so if you have any questions, you can always email me or call me, and then we'll have another meeting obviously next week. So this way we will be able to discuss more. But for now, let's do a quick round of introductions. I know you are at different teams, different age groups, but still, would you like to do quick introductions?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will tell Sophia. In fact, while you will be doing the introductions, I'll call Sophia and ask her to come here. So who wants to go first?
Me.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Tell us who you are, where you are, and at least one interesting fact about yourself. So something that you can remember.
Let's go. My name is Ailita. I live in Ukraine. I'm currently 10 years old, and there are 13 days until my birthday.
Oh, okay. And you will turn how much? How old?
11.
Oh, you will be 11. All right. Very nice.
I really like to draw, and also, I had many situations when I have been sleeping, well, not sleeping for a very long time, like till 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., and once I didn't sleep at all.
And why is that? Playing video games?
No. Well, sometimes, yes. I remember, like, when I didn't sleep at all, it was, I was reading a book, I read it all, then I started reading another book. Yeah, it was fun.
All right. Okay.
I'm like reading, and then I hear the birds chirping, and I'm like, wow.
Sophia?
Yo.
Did you wake up yet? Oh, you're still sleeping? Okay. All right. Well, I'll talk to you later. Yeah, so I just woke her up, so she was still sleeping. All right, Ailita, and one more question since you mentioned sleeping. How many hours per day do you normally sleep?
Like school days?
Is it different, school days?
Well, on school days, I normally sleep 7 or 8 hours.
Only?
Yes.
Okay.
And on regular days, like today, I woke up at 10.
Mm-hmm.
So like 10 hours.
Okay. Good to know.
I remember once, like, I don't know how many years or weeks or months or whatever ago, I used to sleep like 12 or more hours a day. It was fun. Well, it was mostly because it's somewhere you can do whatever you want.
I think I could sleep 12
Sleep
hours.
for the rest of the day.
All right. Okay. All right. Very nice to meet you, Aelita, for those who see you for the first time. Who goes next?
Me.
Okay. All right. Jocelyn, tell us something interesting about yourself.
Okay, I am Ojaswan Raj from India. I am 12 years old. I'm currently in 7th grade. And my birthday is on 2nd April. I'm going to turn 13 this, the upcoming year. And I really love to draw, play table tennis, and I even love...
You said play tennis?
Table tennis.
Oh, table tennis? Okay, ping pong.
Both. I play both.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. So, an interesting fact about your life, something that people wouldn't guess?
My sleepings are the same.
Okay, all right. And you're in New Delhi?
Yeah, and I love animals very much, though I only have a fish.
You have a fish. What kind of fish?
A multi-crab.
Okay. Very nice. Very nice. Good.
Sophia woke up.
How many hours per day do you sleep on a given day?
7 to 8 hours.
Okay. Well, that's
Fast harass.
Yes. Sophia,
turn around. Dun.
Hi, Rita.
Yeah.
Can you go on Skype?
Do you have Skype in your phone now?
No,
You don't?
not yet.
Yeah.
Where do you have Skype?
Yeah, we'll find your account. All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, very nice to see you, Justin Raj. Who goes next?
Yes.
I think I'm the only one.
Well, okay. Well, Bakhtash, you go ahead, and then the other people.
My name is Bakhtash Ghani. I'm from Afghanistan. Currently, I'm living in Kabul, capital of Afghanistan. I'm 17 years old, in 11th grade. And I like reading books, playing music, and I'm a very social person. And sometimes I'm an honest person.
So you're 17. At what age do you go to college in Afghanistan? So how does the system work? So how many more years do you have in school?
Well, just one more year. When I finish 11th grade, I'll go to 12th grade, and then we will go straight to university. We don't have college here.
Right. Well, university, college, I guess in some countries those words are used interchangeably. And so you will be applying to universities when? So you will start applying next year, I guess, right?
Sorry, I didn't get your.
At what? So how soon will you start applying for college, for universities? I guess the applications would have to be submitted in advance, right?
No, not in advance. We have an exam here in our country. It's called Concord. When we finish our school, then we take that test and.
So you basically will be taking it at the end of your 12th grade, right?
Yes.
Okay. In the United States, normally kids apply to universities almost a year in advance. And so in many cases, they would still have almost a whole year to go, but they already start applying for colleges. Okay. So have you
Actually, I'm not planning to take that test. I'm planning to take a scholarship, to be honest, and study in another country.
What country do you want to go to?
Well, in my opinion, any country will have a better system than Afghanistan. But my plan A is European countries or America.
Okay, all right. Well, very nice, very nice. We have a lot of professors all around the world in X-Culture, so maybe one of them will be able, maybe you'll go to one of those universities. In that case, you will have already a friend. So it would be very nice. Okay.
That will be very nice. I'll have some questions. I'll ask some of.
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead. Now is a very good time. Yes. Go ahead with your question.
Not now, but maybe another time.
Okay. All right. Okay. Very good. One more question I forgot to ask. So, Aelita, what countries have you been to? And then
Oh.
Jasmine and then Baktash. So what countries have you visited already?
I've been to Florida for half a year,
Uh-huh.
and I've also been to Russia.
Okay, very nice. Baktash, have you visited? Yeah, or Jasmine, have you visited any countries?
I've been to Dubai with my mother for a conference.
Uh-huh. Oh, Dubai, yeah.
In 2017 only.
Uh-huh. Very nice. Did you like it?
Yeah, I liked it. You visited my mother for the first time
Yeah,
there
yeah.
only.
Yeah. Actually, I remember, I think I saw you in Dubai, right? So for the NAB conference, yeah. Now that you said, I would have not recalled, but yeah, I think we actually met. I didn't even realize that. You're right. Yeah, you were much smaller then. Baktash, have you visited any other countries?
Yes, I've been to Central Asian countries like Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and Tajikistan, and also India.
India, very nice. Yeah, I've heard some good things about those Middle Eastern countries. So I hear they look very, very nice. People don't know anything about them, but the nature is really, really beautiful. All right, Evgeny, tell us about yourself.
My name is Evgeny. I'm 11 years old. I study at Romania. I'm year 6A. I have an animal. It's cat.
Which one do you have, a dog or a cat?
Cat.
A cat, okay, all right. And what city are you in?
6A.
City, like what's the name of the town where you live?
Rivne.
Oh, Rio. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, I was there just a few weeks ago. First time in like 7 years or 8 years. Yeah, very nice, very nice. Have you been to any other countries?
Yes, Egypt, China, and Bulgaria.
Very nice. Okay, great. Very nice. What's the name of your pet? Of your cat?
Dog.
Uh-huh, okay. And how many hours per day do you normally sleep? Aelita only 7 hours. Or Jasmine sleeps for, you said like 8, 10. How many hours do you sleep, Evgeny?
10.
10, okay. Sophia, how many hours do you normally sleep?
On a school day?
On a school day? I don't know. 9 maybe?
On a school day?
10, all right.
Wait, no, I'm not.
Yeah, do your math. When you're ready, tell us. Harsh, are you available to introduce yourself?
Yes.
Go ahead. Tell us a little bit about yourself so we know who you are, and I guess we'll call it a day. 8 hours?
Yes. My name is Harshvardhan. I live in India, and I'm currently living in New Delhi, the capital of India. And I am currently in 7th grade, and I am friends with Justin. And I normally sleep for 6 to 7 hours.
Only?
On school days.
Really?
Yeah.
You're crazy, guys. I mean, how can you survive on so little sleep? You then probably sleep for like 18 hours on the weekend, no?
No. My mother won't allow that. Never.
Okay, all right. So, do you have any pets?
No.
No. Have you been to any other countries?
No.
No. Okay. Well, hopefully, again, the symposium, we have the next one in Canada and then in Grenada. So hopefully you will be able to attend. We had, 6 kids in Italy, right? So it would be nice to see some of them. So I'm really excited about Canada. That's where not only I lived for many years, but also that's where I went to school, and that was my first job. And both of my kids were born in Canada, in Calgary. So, and it's also a very beautiful place. So, the Rocky Mountains are really, really nice. And I haven't been there for like 8 years now, 7 years. So I really want to go there. So hopefully you will be able to attend as well. All right. So Sophia, do you want to introduce yourself, even though you decided not to participate this time? Tell us something.
I have a dog. And
we're not able to hear Sophia.
Maybe say a little bit louder.
My name is Sophia Terrace. I'm 11 years old, and I have a dog. I do gymnastics.
And you're now playing what? What instrument?
A ukulele.
Sophia's learning how to play ukulele. Can you bring it to show to everyone? Because it's a very unusual instrument.
I play piano.
Yeah. Do you
play guitar.
Do you play well?
Casio.
Do you play piano
I
well?
guess.
Or you just kind of...
I'm playing already for 4 years. I
Ah.
guess so.
Casio.
Any other instruments? So Justin, do you play something?
Casio.
Which one?
Casio.
What is that?
A smaller kind of keyboard, we can say.
Interesting. Bakhtash, do you play any musical instruments?
I play guitar and I also play some local instruments, not local instruments, but Eastern instruments
So it's
like
like a
harmonia. I don't know if you know them.
String instrument or is it like...
No, it's not a string instrument. It's, I don't know, how can I explain it? It's got some, it's like a smaller piano, but
like
much different.
Interesting.
And I also play a little bit tabla.
Tabla, yeah. Yeah.
That's, maybe I'll show you that some other time.
Yeah, it would be nice.
It will be much easier.
That's Sophia's new instrument, ukulele. So it's a Hawaiian guitar. So she, for some reason, decided to play it. And so now every day we can hear her practice. All right, well, thank you so much, everyone. So the hour is gone. So as said, if you have any questions, you can email me anytime. And then hopefully we'll see each other again next week. And, oh, you have your keyboard. Do you want to show something? Like, are you good at it? Or Justin, are you, like, do you really play it, or you play it like Sophia with one finger?
No. I used to play it. It has been almost 2 to 3 years since I played it last time.
Very nice. Very nice.
I play with 2 hands too.
Yeah, like you play for real, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Sophia has a keyboard. Yeah, well, she can play a few tunes, right? So she has one.
So, where can Sophia talk right now?
Sophia, can you install Skype on your computer or phone and talk to Alita?
On my phone.
Or you're welcome to use my computer if you want. Or you can install it on your phone. It may take, Alita, it may take us a few minutes to install it and then recall what the password is, because she hasn't used it for a long time. You know?
Okay, you can just message me on Skype
Yeah,
when
just
she's
message
on.
Alita when you're ready, okay? All right, guys. So then, very nice seeing you all. Have a nice weekend. And next week, by the way, so we have the meeting each week, each time. But what I'll try to do this time is I will try to invite some guest speakers. So we have many professors. It's about 150 professors in the project.
I'm sorry, Mr. Terrace.
Yeah,
do you have a few 2 or 3 minutes?
Sure. Yeah. Yes.
I wanted to tell you about one of our team members. He's not been participating in our conversations. We can't reach him. He's from America. I know we have different time zones, but I don't think a reply would take a week.
Who is that? So let me see. What team? What's your team number?
13.
Your team is number 13?
Number 3rd.
Oh, three. Yes. And so which one is not replying? Oh, you're talking about Maxim, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I know that guy. So as you can guess by his last name, so his yeah. So
I was wondering.
Yeah. I know. Didn't he send you a couple of emails? I remember that he sent at least one email, didn't he?
Yes, he did send me one email introducing himself, but I haven't received any other email from him.
Yeah, I'll definitely talk to him. And the other team members, they are actively participating. All good there? I see you have someone from Saudi Arabia, someone from India, someone from Tunisia, and someone, and you are from Afghanistan, right? So you have heard from all the other team members, right?
Yes, we are all in a WhatsApp group.
Oh, you created a WhatsApp?
Speak regularly. Yes, we have a WhatsApp group. We speak regularly, and we had a meeting a few days ago.
Okay, good to know.
But we couldn't reach Maxim.
Yeah, I'll talk to him right away, in fact. So he's like 10 meters away from me, somewhere on the second floor. So yes, I'm glad that you told me. I'll definitely talk to him. So I know that he was sending some emails, but I haven't really followed up if he participated in the meetings. And it's so good to hear that you had a face-to-face meeting in WhatsApp. And so does WhatsApp allow for video calling? Like, can you see?
No, we were having a meeting via Zoom.
Via Zoom. Okay. All right. So I'll definitely talk to him right away. Okay, glad that you told me. Glad that you told me. All right, well, have a nice day then, everybody. And yeah, hopefully next weekend I'll see you again. And as I said, I'll probably invite some guest speakers as well, some professors to do a little presentation, something educational.
Bye.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Mhm.
Bye.